let me show you some ways to apply your changes and your work on one image to other images. Here's an image that I'll work on real quickly. I'm going to select Auto, bump up the exposure values a little bit, and maybe I'll come down here and add a little bit of a vignette. Okay, not much, but really improve that picture. Now, I'll come down here and select another picture that was taken around the same time. And there's a couple ways I can go here. If I select Previous, now it'll take the settings from the image I was working on before and apply it to this image. So this only works if you're going straight back directly to another image. If I now selected, let's say, this image and said Previous, it's still in line to the earlier settings, but the minute I start changing the settings again, if I do anything, let's say, make some negative clarity and go to another image, now that will be the previous setting. Okay, so that's one very quick, simple way to apply some of your settings to another image. Let me show you another way. I'm going to zero out the changes on these. I'm not going to hit reset because actually the resets, it's not going to go far enough back for me. So that's why I'm using the zeroed preset over here in the left panel. So let's start with this one. And now I'm going to go and do pretty much the same thing. I'll use the auto setting. I'll add a little bit of a vignette, not too much. Okay, and I think maybe this time I will do some negative clarity right to begin with. It softens up the image, gives it a nice glow. Okay, now I'm going to come over here and I'm going to select Copy. I'm going to bring all these copy settings over. There's times when certain specific settings just won't be appropriate. For example, if you don't want to vignette everything the same way, or if you don't want to crop everything the same way, you can go through and select which ones of these settings you want to carry over to the next image. So if I hit Copy, and now when I select another image and I select Paste, those settings are now pasted directly onto the other image. Now the cool thing about this is, if I come over, I'm going to hit the G key, and that's going to bring me over to the library module. Now what if I'm over here and I want to paste those settings to another image? So let's see, that's not a good example. Let's try this one. There's no copy and paste. You don't see that in the left panel. But there is a keyboard command that you can use. And for the Mac, it's Command-Shift-V. And that will paste the settings that I had copied earlier in the Develop module in the Library module. If you're working on the PC, that of course, that's the Control-Shift-V. So I can go through all my different images, looking for an appropriate image. I don't know how this one will work with those settings, but we can try Command or Control-Shift-V, and those settings are applied now to this image. You'll find these controls useful. I think it's something to keep in mind when you're working on images, that you can apply your settings very easily over to other images. Of course, a lot of people use the presets to do similar things, and we'll show how to do that in other videos. And then there's also, in the Develop module, we have the sync and auto sync that we've talked about. It's another way to apply settings from one image to the other. The auto sync is only available if you have multiple settings. We've talked about that in other videos. So that's it for copy and paste in Lightroom.